Right, and I think we're finally live. So today we're here to talk about strategic business leader exams, and we're here to help you to pass your exam, to get ready for your exam, and to talk about a couple of points. So it's me and Iryna here today, and we are from, I work at ACCA, probably can tell. I'm wearing my red blazer, our corporate colours of ACCA, and I'm the business leadership executive. And with me today is an expert tutor from Kaplan, Iryna, and I would like to give her a warm welcome, and I'm sure she'll be able to talk about her experience and maybe how she became a tutor, just to start the conversation going.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure.
That's good to hear.
So, shall we have a look at how the students could be preparing?
Yes, of course. Let's go for it. And you're more than welcome to ask us any comments in the chat below. So just to go back to some housekeeping rules. And if you do have any questions, you can ask us at any point. This is all for students. So just make sure you're welcome, you're engaging with us. And yeah, and we can pick up your question as we go. So let's start. So I'm sure we're all nervous or excited. We'll be getting ready for our December 2023 session. It's still just under 2 weeks to go, and I think 13 days to be precise, as the SBL exam is on Tuesday, 5th of December. And I think it was just good to chat, like how we can use this time in the best way and how we can get ready for the exam. What will be your kind of last minute tips?
So my first and probably most important tip is to have a clear study plan. 13 days, on one hand, might sound like a long time. It does go by very quickly though. So we need to know for sure what it is that we're doing today, what we're going to be doing tomorrow. When you look at the big picture and say, oh, I still have 30 days, that might make you feel a little bit too relaxed. Now, a little bit of pressure day by day will help you to get yourself in the right shape to perform well. So what should we be doing in those 13 days? We know that exam practice is the essential thing. So start by looking at past exam papers, congrats. We know that the way airlines work will be very different to the way that IT companies work, which we will have to sit our exam on. But nevertheless, there will be parallels about the challenges organization experiences. And CORJET is not the only paper you could look at. There are other practice papers, VTM, PSS, EX Marine. The more you practice, the better you get at it. Make sure that every session you've got is focused and you know what it is that you're trying to achieve. Put the phone aside, put social media aside. Just give yourself that focused and concentrated time because you know you will perform best. And do remember to practice correctly, as in if you're looking at past exam papers, do use CBA platform so you are familiar with functionality. You know how the question will be laid out. But having a study plan is just one of the first steps. You need to make sure that you feel the sense of progression. You know that you're on track. And therefore, when you're studying, do focus on those small victories. As in, when you go, oh, I need to revise the whole of governance, that might be overwhelming. But when you say, okay, then I will need to revise the different committees that make up good corporate governance, that is manageable. And by the end of the session, you could put yourself at it going, well done, now I know how those committees work. So I have that better grasp of the knowledge area. I am progressing. It's giving me that one step closer to the past goal that I got. So let's also think about the power of positive thinking and reflection. We know that it's only 50% that we need to pass. And if we're preparing, we've analyzed the pre-scene, we know how CBE platform works, we're calm and composed on the day. It's all entirely doable. You can do well in your SBL exam. And if at any point you go, oh my God, it's so much, focus on the big picture. There is that career goal that you have in your mind, your aspiration, saying, once I qualify, I will have the freedom and life and progression and pay rise. And if you have those things in mind, it helps you to persevere, overcome obstacles. So relax, smile, say, I can do it, and you'll be able to do it.
I think it's amazing advice, Iryna. You sound so calming, so positive. I think I'm already in that mood. Yeah, and we can see so many students joining us today, and it's not just UK students; it's a lot of like students across the globe as well. So we have people from Cameroon joining us, from a lot from UK though, and which is amazing. It just makes it sense that like so many students are joining us. Apologies, this is my cough.
It's great to see how many people from different countries are interested in pursuing their career in accountancy, and having a paper like SBL is really helpful because it introduces you to reality of business. As you often see in business, accountants have to do more than just financial reporting. You might need to be that member of board of directors that helps organization to formulate a better strategy, and that's what pre-seen tells you about the organization, what the existing problems are.
Yes, Prescene is so important, and I think it's actually worth to highlight as well how we download Prescene, how we access it, how we go through my ACCA account, because it's something that has been released only in September for the first time. So it's only second some students are actually using Prescene and they're seeing Prescene. So I think it's very important to understand how it all works.
Yeah. Do remember, guys, and this is more for the attendees in the session, you do need to download Prescene from ACCA website. So it's a physical action of going and downloading. You should have all got an email with those resources, and here is the link again in the comments box. So reading the Prescene is fundamental. You need to know what is happening in that cloud computing industry you'll be sitting your exam on. Every industry is different. As we said, last time it's airlines, this time it's cloud computing. So you need to have a good grasp of what the company does. You need to understand what's happening in cloud computing industry, and you need to understand what the challenges might be and how the company might be able to overcome them. NC Tech does have some problems because the industry is growing, developing fast, and it's not always catching up. So the second thing you will need to do once you understood the industry is to think about what makes company unique. Despite the problems that NC Tech is experiencing, it still has clients, it's still making a profit. So it must be doing certain things right. So try to understand what it's doing differently. You do have a list of strengths and weaknesses of the company within the Prescene. Think about why do customers choose NC Tech as opposed to any other competitor, and there are quite a few competitors out there. Do more detailed financial analysis and not just think about, oh yeah, I'm given a gross profit margin, but think about what does it mean for the organization and its future. So in terms of SWOT analysis, do your own SWOT analysis. Though you're given strengths and weaknesses in a Prescene, there's always something you could add to it. And by doing your own SWOT, you will be able to assimilate information better. You'll be able to pinpoint more of the scenario facts that will certainly come handy when it comes to the day on the exam, because you will be able to build on those facts. Examiner builds in those avenues for further development into the Prescene, and having a good grasp of Prescene will help you to think through positive developments or negative future scenarios examiner could throw at you. And if you're prepared, that is halfway to the pass in the exam.
It's an amazing exam, and I do use SWOT for everything. I do for work as well. I think it's just so functional, and you can use it in so many different ways. And yeah, and if you get used to doing something like this while you're a student, I think it's just something that stays with you all your life, and you'll be able to use it at work going
Absolutely.
forward. Um, I don't really see many comments today from students. Like, do we have any questions, or do you have one, like maybe to ask anything, Iryna, while she's here with us today? We still have some time to go, and so I think we have a question from Ryan. I can see it on the screen, and I think he's asking like how much information will be out on the exam day, as we have already pre-seen materials. So
Do remember that there will be unseen as well. So in the past, we would have 4 more exhibits with additional informations and new developments for the organization. And of course, we will have 3 tasks, about 35 marks each, to go with those 4 additional exhibits. So pre-seen gives you that foundation, things that you need to know about NCT Tech before you come into the exam, but unseen will give you those new developments, and you do need to read those 4 exhibits before you answer any of the given tasks.
we also have questions from Ella in the chat, I think, and she's asking how much extra information will be given.
Yeah. So the extra information, each of the exhibits is probably roughly about a page, yeah, sometimes a bit shorter, but in terms of managing time in the exam, it should be absolutely fine. Again, the comments I've received from the students that sat the exam last time in that format said it was manageable. It's not the reading aspect that's difficult, it's putting your answer together. Make sure that your ideas are well thought out, there is a logical flow. That is the challenge of the exam.
That's good. And I can see more questions are coming in, which is a good sign. Thank you so much for engaging with us, guys. It gives us an idea what else we need to cover. Eva is asking about what's the total number of marks available in the exam?
So altogether 100 marks. 80 of them are technical marks and 20 are professional skills marks for demonstrating skills like commercial acumen, evaluation, skepticism. So please do have a look at what you need to do to gain those 20 professional marks, because it will be a shame to forgo them if you don't use the right format in your answer, for example, report, briefing notes, or you do not focus enough on demonstrating that skill when composing your answer.
Yeah, great. Said is asking if the webinar is based on pre-seen materials. No, it's not just based on pre-seen materials. We're highlighting pre-seen because it's very important for you to access it, but it's not what it's all about. I think it's just our place here is for you to just to give you that motivation and just to make sure you use your last week before the exam, you know, to revise efficiently, to come up with some really good ideas. What Iryna mentioned, make a study plan, and that will give you peace of mind on the exam date. Shall we go back to questions? I'm just cautious of time. We have actually a good question from Alexandra, and she's asking, are we going to have the pre-seen material in the exam as well so we can quickly refer to?
Absolutely. The pre-seen is available in the exam as well. So do have a look at the past exam paper, Courgette, that I mentioned, because the way that it's set up in CBE platform will be exactly the same way that the new paper on NC Tech will be set up on the day of the exam. Pre-seen is available, but you have 3 hours, 15 minutes in the exam, and very little of it will be available for just rereading the pre-seen. You could look up an odd fact, but you should be coming to the exam pretty confident as to what the pre-seen is all about, what the key facts of the company and the industry are.
Yeah, definitely make use of practice platform. Look at the specimen exams, at mock exams that are available there. I also advise to look at our YouTube channel, the Study Support Resources channel, and there are loads of information and full video debriefs on exams too, so this will be very, very useful for you before the exam. And I think now when we discuss the pre-seen, maybe it's time just to move to that night before the exam. And what would be your final advice to be exam ready on the day? What should you do?
So again, pre-seen is the key. Yeah, we need to know the organization well. So please do reread it the night before, not at 12 o'clock at night, but at a reasonable hour. So it's still fresh in your mind. Yeah, it will remind you about the key features of the organization. You also need to give yourself a kind of a bit of a pep talk and go, you know what, I've done well. I worked so hard, yeah, between now and the exam. I've done everything I can, and I'm sure that will be enough. I will do well. Because if you know internally that you could do it, you are much more likely to do it. So don't try to cram the night before. That really works. Yeah. But if you work hard, if you're organized, if you've practiced using CBE platform, you've done everything you can to help yourself succeed, and therefore you can do it. Finally, do give yourself a good night's sleep. Yeah. Don't go to bed at midnight. And when you get up, well rested, have a nice solid breakfast. You know, in UK, porridge would be popular, but I know it's not for everybody. Yeah. So whatever is your favorite food that makes you feel comfortable and gives you energy to sustain yourself for 195 minutes of the exam, that should be on your breakfast plate.
I think also a good suggestion for me personally, I think if you're sitting SBL in exam center, I would definitely get up early on a day. I would probably go as early as I can, maybe sit in the cafe next door, have a coffee there. I think that gives you a peace of mind. You know, you're there on time. There's no rush really. It's just really you, last minute for you to concentrate on all your studies and just again be positive about it. Think all the effort you've done so far and you've done really well. So exam day is just to show all your knowledge and perform the best that you can. And as Iryna mentioned before, you only need to pass 50% to pass the exam. And I'm sure with the correct preparation, you'll definitely succeed and you'll definitely pass the exam. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Lots
for
of
having
luck.
me. Good luck. Bye-bye.